Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Well, this week we're going to discuss drafting. Now, drafting clearly is very important for open water swimmers and triathletes because drafting saves 15 to 20% of your energy as you're going along. But it's also an incredibly useful tool to use for swimmers in a swimming club to actually train at a particular intensity. I'm going to go to the computer in a second and show you how I use it with my swimming club swimmers to actually get an enjoyable session, but also an intense and rewarding session that actually gets people both fit and willing to work that little bit harder. So let's go to the computer, have a look, then come back and discuss it.
Okay, so what we have here is we have a swimmer coming into a turn who's just dropped a swimmer. So that's going to be effectively our swimmer A. Let's see what happens. As swimmer A comes into the turn, you saw someone just jump in the water. Another swimmer is going to really jump on her tail and swim as close as possible as they can to swimmer A. You can see how close those hands are to the feet. So we have now swimmer A and swimmer B. And it's really important that swimmer B swims close so they get that drafting effect. And you can see how close they are. Now swimmer A is working really hard. What she's trying to do, she's trying to swim swimmer B off her feet. And at the turn she's going to turn really fast, trying to get a gap on swimmer B. So swimmer B's got to turn fast to get right back on those feet, because if he loses the draft it becomes much more difficult to swim. Swimmer A, as you can see, those feet are going, she's working really hard. And what's going to happen here, she's just going to come into the wall. I'm just going to stop it before she comes into the wall. Now it's important when you're doing this exercise that the person in front peels off away from the turning line, because the person who's turning wants to come in and turn unhindered. So that's really important. Let's see how that goes. You can see the swimmer A's peeled off, B's turned, and guess what? Swimmer C has just jumped in on swimmer B's feet. And again, we've got someone going really close to the swimmer. So we've now got swimmer B and swimmer C. And again, now swimmer B's working really hard in front. You can see that kick going really hard. Swimmer C behind is working slightly easier. This should be easier for swimmer C. We want people of similar speeds, within about 5 seconds to 10 seconds per 100. Otherwise you really can't keep the draft if someone puts a spurt on. You can see here that was a slightly bad turn from C, and he's having to work to get back on the feet. But once he's on the feet, that becomes very easy. So as we come into the turn, remember, swimmer B now is going to peel off so that swimmer A can come in, swimmer C can come in and do that turn. Let's have a look. And there we go, the turn's easy because he's got out of the way, and now swimmer A has got back on the feet of swimmer C, and she's actually swimming slightly beside swimmer B. You can see this. And now we have swimmer C, and swimmer A. So we had A with B following, B with C following, and now A is following C. And that's how it has to go when you've got 3 people in. You could do it with 4 people, in which case you have A, B and C swimming and D not swimming, then B, C and D with A relaxing. And you can see she's really close on the heels of this guy. She doesn't want to be lost. She's going to do a good turn, come back on the feet. She lost a little bit, but not too much. And you can see that it's really difficult to make that person behind drop off that draft. And so long as you're that close, you're getting a really good exercise in front, slightly relaxed behind, and then you're having that rest once you come in. Again, peeling off, turning, getting onto those feet. Slightly slow there, I'd have said, but he is a slightly faster swimmer than the girl. So there you go. That's how to draft in a pool and get a really, really, really good exercise at a good pace.
So there you go, that's how I use drafting in a swimming club setting. Now these people aren't triathletes, but they occasionally do triathlons, as they do when they're young. Remember, those are 11, 12-year-old youngsters, and they absolutely love the fact that they're working in a team. They're trying to actually push each other to their limits, but when they're behind, it's easy to stay on the feet. When they're in front, They're working like Billy-O. And then they get that 50 meters rest. So that 50-meter rest was probably about 40 seconds to 45 seconds. And that's all you need. Because then you're behind someone and you're actually swimming easier than you would when you're in front. But you can see the effort they make when they're in front. Now, if you have 3 or 4 people, you can do exactly the same. If you have 4 people, you have 3 people swimming every time. So you go front, middle, back, resting, and you just rotate it exactly the same way. Now, we did 9 rounds of that, so 9 complete rounds. And if we're doing it in 4, we do 6 complete rounds. And that is a really good workout. It's building lactate, it's swimming at your threshold, and actually it's enjoyable. The time passes really quickly. So think about using it if you can, either in your swimming club or with friends when you're actually doing a nice session. Okay, that's it for this week. Try drafting. It's an absolutely wonderful exercise.